Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 3. It's going to be LGD.int versus RisingStars, your final, well, not your final match, your second to last match of the Dota 2 Super League group stages, the $165,000 coming out party for the Perfect World organizers. And it looks like the game will load. Kawa was throwing us to the wolves. He ran the intro early before it loaded. It goes through in the end, so shout out to Kawa for being a jerk. Screw you, Kawa. But I'm LD. I'm joined here by Lumi. And Lumi, Game 3. Who's your money on?
RisingStars. I think RisingStar is what's going on, Kawa?
That's what we said.
That's
Go home, Kawa. You're drunk. Go ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you done? Can we cast the game now?
Okay. Alright, looks like we could cast now. Kawa just gave us the green light. I think RisingStar, not because I favor the Chinese team more, but because I think they've been playing better today. In their game 1 loss, they play okay. It was a pretty close game. In their game 1 win, they were kind of stomping hard. In the game 2 loss, they were almost even bringing it back. There was some great smoke plays. Perhaps it was a couple mistakes made by LGDint, but just on the 2 games so far here today, I think RisingStar is playing better Dota. So I think they could win the series.
Yeah, for LGDN, I would have to agree. I think it comes down to, do they get that better draft? Do they have that fast start?
Right.
If they don't, I think the game gets
There's so
quite
many
hard for them.
ifs and buts and ands. It's just...
If I had to put money on it, I would say RisingStars, but it wouldn't be. I wouldn't want to bet a lot of money on it.
It's
Not
more
unless
like
the
a
odds were pretty decent.
55-45 kind of thing.
It's not like we're saying 80-20 RisingStars
Right.
take this. They haven't been that impressive. And LGDN, they will start this one off with the Lifestealer. So does this change the equation for you, Lumi?
I mean, in game number 1, we saw Lifestealer being an opening pick, and then Stormstray eventually cleaning up. Now, G does, if you don't know, plays a very good Storm, and
G invented Storm Spirit, all right?
he did.
I mean, gods would argue with that and say
Blitz-
MMY is the best Storm.
Blitz would argue against that as well,
Yeah.
but yeah, God's really invented the Bloodstone Storm and
Not gods. God killed them all, but yeah.
well, God, yeah.
The other god.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see Alchemist and Darks here, so a ton of team fight, a ton of base defense, and more importantly, very stellar lanes right from the get-go.
Yes, pretty strong lanes for them. And up against Lifestealer, some good control as well. You've got the minus armor from Poison Spray, which is obviously fantastic against Lifestealer, as well as the physical damage from the stun. So it'll be a pretty potent combo to deal with him. And then also Surge, one of the best ways to deal with Dark Lifestealer. Question is, do LGD go Storm now? Because I feel like if they don't, RisingStars will probably ban it out in the second stage.
I feel like they go Nyx Assassin now. It's a great hero that gives you more mid-game ganking power with a conjunction with Vendetta Lifestealer. Mana Burn is exceptional against Darkseer because his mana pool is pretty shoddy. And being an intelligence hero, he's going to take a lot of mana burning. So maybe you just run a solo mid Nyx Assassin on G if that's what you want to do. But
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, the one issue for me with going something like Nyx is, again, it's just not that it's a hero that can have a powerful start. It can be a big nuisance, but most of the time, it's hard for Nyx nowadays to really get out of control if he goes mid. Because if he goes mid, it's obvious when he's missing, because there's no Nyx in the lane. Whereas if he's a support Nyx, could disappear into the jungle, things like that. They'll go Queen of Pain, and I actually like this better because I think it just suits G more. He's a player like Mushi, sort of like Korok, where they want that kind of DPS, intelligence semi-carry, snowball type of hero. And so I think this is a slightly better fit.
yeah, critically, you're going to get your quick Orchids, which is going to be the big deal against Darkseer, Alchemist, and more importantly, it's a bust for that Lifestealer to come in melee close and get up and personal. I'm surprised that RisingStar actually banned that Shadow Demon. I thought that's the hero that they want against this sort of lineup coming out from LGN, but we'll see what they're going to go from here as well. I'm surprised completely the Lifestealer not being countered by the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, we'll see. And now RisingStars are actually the ones just to ban it out themselves. So feeling confident that they don't need it and they don't want to have to play against it. He is kind of annoying versus Alchemist as well. Again, being a melee carry can be kited fairly easily by that. Also, Alchemist almost always builds Assault Cuirass, and this is something that Disruption is going to counter because you get a copy of that Alchemist aura for your own team. So, somewhat makes sense, and of course, decent against Darkseer in the tri-lanes, but not a ban worth talking anymore about. Weaver, the ban here for LGDN. My question for you is, what is LGDN going for now? They've got the Lifestealer to be that tri-lane component for Brax. It could be a safe lane farmer for Pycat, but I imagine Pycat will probably play something else and they'll run this as an aggressive tri-lane Lifestealer. That seems more like LGDN to me. So then my question is, what's going to go with the Lifestealer and what's Pycat going to play?
I imagine something that runs along the line of a Channer Enchantress.
Ooh.
And just do a ton of early game pressure because you have basically your latest game hero is Life Stealer and Queen of Pain so far, and that's not late at all. Like, you could get going right at the 10-minute mark, and if you could take down tier 1 and start to take down tier 2 towers, you secure the enemy Roshan for yourself with Chen creeps. I think it could be a very, very kind of offensive lineup for them to play. And it's like you said, LG not exactly known for the late game power, and that's exactly what RisingStars is going for. They're banning out the late game heroes like Prophet. They want to go late game. They want to go as late as possible, especially against Queen of Pain. Because what is Queen of Pain going to do 35, 40 minutes in?
Yeah, if Alchemist gets to that point where he's got Assault Cuirass, you know, you're looking at your Basher, your Heart of Tarrasque,
right,
your Manta Style, whatever the items are.
You get to a certain Hexer?
Yeah, you hex him, and then he just sits there and doesn't lose health.
Right.
In Chemical Rage with all the regen from Hard, or whatever the case might be. Rubik will be the pick for RisingStars, and I actually love this pick because it's going to allow them to gank Queen of Pain. You lift her up, and if the follow-up stuns are there, you can actually bring her down. It's that instant disable, which oftentimes teams are lacking against mobile heroes like Queen of Pain.
Yeah, a big kind of thing so far for RisingStars is that they don't lack in AoE. Last game, I thought they had too much single target because I was more enticed by that Hook, Laguna Blade, all the single target ultimates, but from the repeated base defense, we saw Acid Spray, Dragon Slave, and all that stuff. And similar in this game, they have a lot of ways to defend towers, and I think that's going to be their path to victory. Keep defending, and take it to the late game. It might change very easily in this 4th and 5th pick, but so far that seems to be their game plan.
I mean, they can angle more for the mid game if they want. Darkseer can rush a mech, Alchemist can go mech, and Darkseer can even go for something like a pipe fairly early, the Arcane Boots before that. Alchemist can go Shadow Blade. They can angle mid game, but I'm with you. I think if you're RisingStars, you look at LGD as a team, and you look at this draft and you say, we will have a better shot at winning this if we angle for late game. They go for Puck now, and now that puts Alchemist into a farming role. Now that really shores up their team fight. Dream Coil, Waning Rift, Vacuum, Wall, Acid Spray layered over top, whatever Rubik can steal, which, oh, by the way, he could steal a Burrow Strike.
Sonic Wave, Burrow Strike.
That's a lot of good stuff. Yeah. So I think RisingStars, if this goes to that 35, 40-minute mark, I would be willing to bet a lot of money they'll take it. I think that's about the maximum point where I would expect LGD to win the game, but of course we could be surprised.
Yeah. Also, with the Sand King being picked up, I think Misery will be playing that, so most likely we won't be seeing any jungle hero. And with the assumption of Sand King being handled by Misery, I imagine we see something like Leshrac being played by 1437. That's a hero that he's very good at, and that's your kind of dual-core roaming combo. SK Leshrac with Lifestealer. Maybe that lane lacks quite a bit in terms of initiation power, so maybe you want a support that gives you a longer initiation, like a Jakiro.
It can definitely work as a combo if you smoke and you come through the tree line or around a corner.
Right.
Later on, it's easy, but yeah, you're right. At level 1, it's not the strongest dual roam, so we'll see what they go for here. And the other question is, what's that Pycat hero going to be? Gyrocopter's in the... Oh, sorry, actually Gyrocopter's banned, but Lone Druid is in the pool. We saw Pycat once upon a time played a Clinks. We'll actually see the Chen, so this now puts Brax onto... the Lifestealer, most likely, the Sand King for, I guess it's going to be for 1437.
Yeah,
so a 5-position Sand King, and then the Chen for Misery.
What about Lycanthrope?
Ooh.
It's a hero that they're really, really good at. I think LGN definitely is the best Lycan team in the world. Like, well, that's not saying much because nobody used Lycan, but they know how to push this hero to the button. They know how to split push very well.
Yeah.
And you know you're going to get the quick Vlads. It goes very well with Chen. And
if you pick Lycan here, my question is, how do you shut down Darkseer in the laning stage? That's going to be the big concern, because Lycan cannot do a thing against that hero. You have to devote Sand King to helping, and Sand King can't help. So basically, Chen has to lane against Darkseer. He's got to constantly send creeps there. He'll slow down his own farm. They can't really go for smoke ganks. I don't think it fits just because of the lanes. You're right, it's a hero that they've used, but against the Darkseer, with the supports they have, I think it's too much of a liability in the laning stage.
Yeah, I think they need some sort of range carry or something that could harass from far.
Maybe even something like I mentioned a Clinks. I think it wouldn't be
yeah.
We've seen Funnick has beaten Darkseer safe lane. You pull the Clinks early, so he starts with the Wraith ban. It's possible for Clinks to beat Darkseer safe lane. That allows them to run the aggressive
Oh my god.
Okay. We're going to see a triad. So, RisingStars, now their team fight. I know a lot of people think Overgrowth isn't that great of a team fight ability because it doesn't do damage.
It's so good.
It's great against Lifestealer. Yep. They have Surge to deal with Lifestealer. They have Overgrowth to deal with him. They have Acid Spray to deal with him. They have the elusiveness of Puck to deal with him.
Yep.
This is a team that has a lot of tools for Lifestealer. So, LGD, they can't put too many eggs in the Lifestealer basket. I think they need to pick up a third hero that can kind of scale a bit as well.
They don't have much time left. They're running quite low.
7 seconds.
Well, they have
or
7
14.
they
14.
have 7-second reserve as well, so we'll just wait with Beta Breath what this last pick is. Lycanthrope Cillian doesn't look good anymore at all, even if you find a lane for him. But it's going to be a Shadow Fiend, so...
This is good. You mentioned a range carry. This is similar, actually better, I would say, than a Clinks at actually zoning a Darkseer out.
He's great, yeah.
Not at level 1, but if you get... We've seen CTY do this before on the safe lane Shadow Fiend. You get to level 3, you have a couple of souls. Level 5, Darkseer tries to dive you, and you just triple raise him and kill him.
Yep, all you need is like a single Burrow Strike to set things up, and then it's just easy peasy from that point on.
We've actually seen CTY solo kill a Darkseer offlane now. I don't know if that'll happen.
Well, here's the thing: is he gonna solo kill anything with the living armor online?
That's true. That is the X factor here. Well, it means the raises may not be very effective. But guys, it is going to be Game 3, RisingStars versus LGD.int. This one's for all the marbles. RisingStars, they take this game, they bounce back, they'll move on to the playoffs. If LGD.int can muster their courage and somehow work their way into a victory here, then they will be the ones to advance to the playoffs. These teams are duking it out for third place. For Group A, things have already been set. We've finished up our group stages there. In Group B, it's going to be DK as well as Orange. Duking it out for first and second place. They're guaranteed to be the top 1-2. The only question is going to be the order. So for RisingStars, we'll introduce their players after this pause. Lumi, looking at the draft and looking at the camera. What do you think? What do you think about this game? Do you have a favorite?
I personally like Trian. I'm like the other David of the BTS, where one David...
We have to balance out gods, because he's such a hater.
He's such a hater.
It's kind of insane.
Like how you love Dreams and Mineski and you put them in the Eastern qualifier, I balance you out, with the obvious...
With your Pinoy pride.
Right, there you go. I personally like Tree quite a bit. I know a lot of people out there saying, hey, but you could rage and break out of... overgrowth and things like that. But a lot of time, when Lifestealer walks in, he opens wounds and he rage. You have to pop the rage early to kind of dodge, initiate it.
And you need the attack speed as well.
Right.
It's a lot of your damage.
So as a Treant, you can basically just wait until that rage comes out, and then you just overgrowth.
And you can use things like Surge to kind of kite the Lifestealer, wait out the rage. Puck can orb, phase shift away. They have a lot of ways to do it with this Lifestealer, but that's why I like what LGDN did, because they're not relying too much on him. They go back for the Shadow Fiend here. They've got a tri-core lineup. They've got 3 heroes with a lot of damage, some good mobility, especially if you go phase drums on Lifestealer, which I imagine is kind of this 2 or 3 position. We'll probably see that. I think what LGD have done is the smart way to play this game out. They're not going to have the better team fight, so they're going for just burst damage, tri-core, split push, somebody hopefully just gets the ball rolling, and then from there, they just muscle their way to victory.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is in the Shadow Fiend basket, because he's going to have all the protection. He's playing the 1 row. He's going to have Sand King backing him up. He's going to have Chen backing him up from the jungle. Normally, you say Darkseer can't win that lane at all. I mean, Darkseer, you think he could win the lane with Iron Shell and all that stuff, but a single Burrow Strike out of jungle, you're dead. But on the flip side, you also have Living Armor. So I haven't seen this matchup really come out, so I don't know how that lane goes. And in my opinion, that is the lane that determines the entire game. That's the biggest important lane to me.
I think he really should win it, especially if they pull him. If he gets any kind of help early from the Sand King and the Chen, it should be a free farm Shadow Fiend by all rights. We'll see what RisingStars do here. We'll hop ourselves back inside the game, guys. Again, Game 3, this one for all the marbles. Air going to be playing that solo mid Puck for RisingStars. We saw him off lane on the Puck in Game 1. He'll be taking the mid role, his customary position this time around. XDD, back to that off lane role as the Darkseer. On the safe lane, we'll have Xiao Tuji playing the farming Alchemist. We'll see how greedy he gets this game, how many points of Grievel's Greed he'll go for. Mofi on the Rubik, and last but not least, it's going to be Super on that 4-position Treant Protector.
Meanwhile, here on the Radiant side, it's going to be Brax handling the Lifestealer. I thought he was going to be solo Lifestealer up top, Suicide Lane. It might still be so. Maybe the supports are kind of hanging out with him.
I think it'll be a dual roam from LGDN here, and well, actually, no smoke, some Misery, so maybe not.
Maybe they're just jungling here. Speaking of Misery, he's going to be playing that Chen. And, of course, we have Sand King being handled by 1437. Of course, solo mid, as always, is going to be G. Playing the Queen of Pain. Was pulled by a couple of points of regen. And last but not least, it's going to be Pycat playing that 1 row Shadow Fiend bot. Yeah,
he'll be going for early Tranquil Boots. He's expecting Darkseer in lane. For the time being, it looks like Darkseer is going to be there. XDD on the bottom lane, and well, we'll see how much he can do. This is where Darkseer, level 2, 3, he's got to find them quickly, because once Pycat starts to get some damage from the passive, and once he gets his level 2 raise, it's actually quite hard for Darkseer to stay in lane, especially with the threat of a Burrow Strike. For the time being, though, there is a ward up, so he should be okay. Brax on the run top lane, but should be fine. So LGDN, I like how they're running the Lifestealer off lane, because it's the one thing about this here that's still very strong is hard to kill in the off lane with Rage, and probably should be able to get some levels here, and that frees you up to run something greedy like a Shadow Fiend safe lane.
Double Iron Shell here, as XCD does not care about the 1437 harass. He doesn't need to care because he has all the regen. He has living armor. They could actually trade hits. Burrow Strike goes off here. XCD says, I got living armor, man.
Haha.
Yeah, you go the other way. The biggest thing for me is that, for whatever reason, Rising Star did not start with Sentry Wards, and their pull just got warded off by this particular ward, and they won't have EXP. For your level 1 Treant and your level 1 Rubik, who aren't gankers, like, what are you going to do, gank with living armor? You're going to really fall behind in terms of EXP compared to a Chen that's rising away in the jungle.
And for the Dire side, it's nearly impossible to pull this safe camp unless you get the poison creep, so you can't really rely on that secondary pull, which means, like you said, they're just not getting a whole lot. They may try and pull this camp right here. Mofi's going to draw the aggro. Is the timing right?
No, it's wrong.
He didn't tango through, and it won't be in time, and this lane's going to push. That's a lot of experience going his way, and normally the Darkseer is sort of your X factor here. He'll get more out of the offlane than even something like a Lifestealer, but this game looks like it should be even, or maybe even favoring that Lifestealer.
Yeah, the Rising Star supports making early blunders. Rubik picks up the immediate. He doesn't even upgrade a courier. That's how important they need the Sentry Ward right now, and it's walking there. And of course, XCD is still absolutely fine on the spot lane. He's got that very critical level 2, so he shouldn't really die here anymore. But look at Pycat. His farming 8-5, not bad.
He won't die now. He can definitely die when Pycat hits level 3, maybe level 5. Once you get to that point, doesn't matter if Darkseer Surge. He gets Burrow Striked, you double, triple raise, he'll just die. So
well, he still have living armor, assuming that Super doesn't fall asleep during that time. So
we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I guess if he's at full HP, maybe not. But well, Pycat should be able to deliver the harassment, the pain as well. And for the time being, Pycat 9-7 despite last stay under his tower. And it's always about those first few waves of Shadow Fiend. You do well on those, and things are smooth sailing. You struggle at first, and sometimes you can get frustrated. But he's off to a good start. At the same time, so too is Xiaotuji. 14-1, maxing greed first, not leveling the stun up too much just yet. Only 1 point in that. And for Rising Stars, I still feel their best path to victory here is just angle for maximum late game.
Yeah, and they gotta shut down Lifestealer a little bit harder in the top lane. Once Lifestealer, for example, gets his phase boots, this lane is absolutely impossible. Because what is the support gonna do against a phased Lifestealer that could run in and out of lane? They could even harass him back. And right now, look at Brax.
They're gonna go in right now.
Oh no, he's fine.
Can't quite kill off XDD, but I mean, you do see the potential there to just blow him up all of a sudden is quite present.
He will need to get that salve. I wonder if he's going to go Soul Ring. That's generally the absolute standard item build. Sometimes players like to go for Bottle if you want a little bit more burst regen.
We'll have to see what he goes for the time being, just continuing to get what experience and gold he can out of this lane. We'll have another pause, this time from LGD.int. Quick disconnect from G. And Lumi, what do you make of the game so far? Gold-wise, 100 gold lead for the Radiant. Experience-wise, 750 lead for them. The one here we haven't looked at too much is Misery's Chen. Level 3.5 at 3 minutes in. He's off to a pretty fast start.
Yeah, I mean, you know they're not going to be ganking. We didn't see any smokes early on. Sentry, or only a single Clarity up on Chen. He just wanted to hit that level 6 because he knows once that quick level 6 is up, the Lifestealer is not going to die on top. Shadow Fiend's definitely not going to die on the bot lane. So they're going to be basically going for a very safe play until 10-15 minute mark. And then hopefully your Shadow Fiend is going to snowball by then. And speaking of the Shadow Fiend, what build do you think it's going to go for? Is it going to be something that we've seen in the past, like Phase, Drums, Mask of Madness, Shadow Blade? Or is it going to be like a quick BKB? I mean, that CTY Shadow Fiend is just so devastating once you get that kind
I
of
don't
build.
know if you can go that hard in that direction, but I think for Pycat, this game, you look at LGDN, they'll have an alright team fight around like the 8 to 10 minute mark, but once Darkseer hits level 11 or 12, once Puck has a Blink Dagger, you don't really want to take 5v5 fights as LGDN, not unless you're very far ahead. So once you get to that point, I would say LGDN are going to be better off just split pushing and not trying to group too much. There will be that window where if they get a fast mech, maybe your Sand King is an early level 5 or 7, they can take some aggressive fights, but go a bit later, I think Rising Stars will have the heavy hero composition advantage there. So I would personally like to see something like just the Tread Shadowblade build. Your safe lane, you can zone the Darkseer out pretty easily, and it allows you to split push. It taxes the enemy supports who didn't de-ward right away, are going to be a bit behind and don't farm that well in general.
So Tresh Shadowblade into something like a BKB for...
He'll need a BKB at some point. I guess that's the main consideration.
And Tree is going to say, okay,
Yeah.
I have Overgrowth, so...
He's up against, particularly against Puck. You get silenced, you're just not going to do anything in a fight. So I think eventually he'll need a BKB. I just don't think you want to rush one this game because it's not one of those games where Shadowfiend gets a BKB and you just 5-man every tower. Maybe you get the outer 2 or 3, But then I think their push is really going to stall, just because the lineup that RisingStars has. You mentioned the counter push. There's also the team fight to consider. So, yeah, I would like to see something like the Shadow Blade. I think more of a split push style and kind of a slow starvation Dota is what LGD want to angle for here.
Oh, so we're going to get back in the game. That the key factor for me right now is that Treant Protector still level 1. In fact, he's actually going to lose some of these big creeps to the Lifestealer. Well,
that's not going to help. Brack's doing a nice job in this offlane. Already level 4. Same level as the Darkseer. You don't normally see this. Offlane Lifestealer is decent because he has Rage, so he's hard to kill. But Darkseer is the one that can constantly push the lane, farm a lot, and be a total nuisance. And they're neck and neck in terms of CS as well.
Well, he's offlane Lifestealer against a Treant Protector. What is that hero going to do?
That's a fair criticism of Treant as a hero.
Yeah.
Definitely not one of his strong suits. He can make one of your solos very strong. He can allow your team to tower dive. He will not zone the enemy heroes out.
Yeah.
Well, Air's going to get a Shadow Strike to the face mid lane. G has that level 3 Scream. Might try to go for a kill here fairly soon, but we'll have to wait and see. He'll get the Scream off. Nope, phase shift dodge by Air. I think if that hits, he may commit, but it doesn't. We'll play it safe, and of course, there's always the living armor, and it's so easy as a caster and as a player to forget about this, especially in the Eastern scene, because you don't see Tree every game, and it's sort of like playing against a Wisp, I want to say, where it just changes the way you play the game. You have to take a completely different approach.
I would tell you that I would never forget Treant Protector ever in a game because it's the new PL in pub. It's like the douchiest thing you could do. Like, you just pick Tree. What do? You just cry.
Well, in these pro games, we have not been seeing the hero whatsoever in the Eastern scene, so
not yet.
We'll see how prepared they are for it.
Not yet, man.
For the time being, they're not playing too aggressively.
I'm telling you, TI3 final, it's gonna be Tree. You heard it here, guys.
I don't hate Tree like gods. I don't think he's a horrible hero, but he's so a boring hero.
He's so boring to watch.
He's the most boring hero.
Yeah.
I feel that people who play Treant just enjoy watching others suffer because there is no way you can take pleasure out of that hero except by the pain you cause to your opponents.
You know those like Dota buff ratings where there's one player that plays like Meepo 2000 games?
Yeah.
I want to see that one person that plays Tree 2000 game and then be like, really?
Yeah, tree pickers are assholes. That's basically what we're saying. If you're a tree picker, shame on you. You're a disgrace to humanity, but we'll move right along. There's going to be a Burrow Strike bottom lane perhaps. Nope, no engagement yet.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me right now is Brax is getting so much on this top lane. And again, once he gets up to his phase boot, this lane is completely unwinnable. They're going to lift him up, toss him back. The stun's going to get dodged. Well, Rage is still good.
Yeah, Rage is apparently a pretty good ability in the offlane. He'll actually be leveling that up, and I think as this offlane Lifestealer especially, you really will have to max it first. You can't be leveling up open wounds too much. You'll need the additional points if they're diving you at the tower, and it's going to be just a straight Shadowblade rush for Xiao2G. He'll waste no time going for the aggressive item this game. Well, actually, I guess it could be the Battle Fury. That's the other consideration. If I would kind of prefer the Battle Fury myself, but we'll see what he goes for.
I think if he was going for Battle Fury, he would pick up something like Treads or Phase Beat first to give him a little bit more kind of base stats. But I'm not sure. Would you just go Shadowblade Rush without skipping your Boots upgrade? I feel Boot upgrade is very important in Alchemist.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning towards just a straight Battle Fury Rush, and he wants to get it up as quickly as possible because they know they're up against the safe lane Shadow Fiend, getting free farm, a Queen of Pain mid who's CSing reasonably well, and a Lifestealer offlane who's getting levels. So, considering that, well, we'll see you disconnect for a moment, but I imagine you'll hop back in soon, Lumi. If you don't, well.
I'm getting animation lag, so
okay.
Hopefully.
In the meantime, we'll continue casting this one out. So G, middle lane, he's got an Invis Room bottled up, and he's actually struggling a bit in the CS department. Air did start with an early Null Talisman. I think he was pulled regen as well, though I'm not 100% sure. And it seems like that's allowed him, as well as just some good play, to accrue a bit of an advantage here over G in the middle lane, but definitely not overwhelming. And for XDD, he's reached that point where he's just too worried about Sand King coming in. He's worried about the Chen being off the map. He doesn't have Observer Wards bottom. And for all of these reasons, he'll go jungle. So I think this is a smart defensive play. It's not like you can stop Shadow Fiend from last Tinny anyway at this point. 48 and 29 for Pycat.
Yeah, so the bigger question is, where does Pycat go from here? We talked about the early Treads, Shadowblade. I think maybe it's Treads, Yasha, BKB this game, because between Manta Style and BKB, you have two ways to go out of that overgrowth and then start doing whatever you need to do in that team fight. So
and the puck silence as well.
Sure,
so it could be decent there. We'll have to see. I mean, the Shadowblade is best just for the split push aspect, and in theory for the initiation, and if they don't buy wards early, but that only works maybe once, and then the jig is sort of up, and you expect them to be prepared after that. So it's mostly down to just style and preference here, I feel. If they want to split push more, Shadowblade. If they want to fight, yeah, I think something like Yasha BKB is the way to go.
Well, Mid lane here.
And knowing LGD, they normally like to fight, so maybe I lean towards that, just because of their style.
G is invisible right now. He's looking for a kill up top, and again, the big thing to keep in mind is there is living armor, so Super gotta stay very far back. He's using it to heal himself right now, and G's gonna think better of it and go back to the mid lane.
And there's also a teleport scroll in air. You dive that tower against Puck, he TPs in, he coils, silences. You may lose 2 and not even get one with, like you said, the living armor in play.
Tier 1 tower push on the bot lane here. Is 1437 going to get that burrow strike already? Living armor here, and they said, all right, we'll take your tier 1 tower as well. There's Cliff available. XCD is very low in terms of mana, but he does have that soul ring. Anybody else going to TP and try to stop this push, or are they going to give it up for free? I think so.
I do want to point out, as we're going to see Alchemist is going Battle Fury, and I think that's the right choice this game, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. I do want to point out, Misery was level 7 at 8.5 minutes. That is some of the fastest farm on Chen you can have in the jungle. And with the Wildkin, it looks like he was actually just killing off some stack camps. Didn't see it myself, but that's pretty much the only way you can level this quickly. So fantastic, efficient jungle play for Misery. He's already got a mech, 9-minute mech completed and delivered. And this is what the doctor ordered for LGD, because again, this is their window. It's like that 8 to 15 minute mark where they have a pretty good 5-man because of the early mech. And because they have, you're like Sankey with a nice AoE stun, but you go too much past that point, and that's where RisingStars, they get level 6 on Treant, they have level 6 on Rubik, Darkseer gets towards 11 or 12, and then I think it's hard, but getting the mech this fast, they can take advantage of this and should take all the tier 1.
He's just straight up rushed the mech, no brutes, no arcane, nothing in between. He just understand how this game is going to turn out, especially considering the fact that there's a tree on the enemy side. Whenever you pick a tree, there's already certain stress on your lineup that the rest of the 4 heroes have to do a ton more damage, because Tree doesn't do any of it, because, you know, he's not that good.
Oh, mid lane, they might be making a go here on G. They've got that coil. He'll drop it, but a second too late. G blinks out in the nick of time, and in a jiffy, he's gone.
I think he was fine, because, well, there should have been Hannah God online. Unfortunately, Misery didn't have mana. Now he will. But,
yeah, Misery has the boots up. We could be seeing arcane boots at like that 12, 13 minute mark. This is one of the fastest farming Chens you'll ever see. This is some impressive farm from him. 2.8k. And also, he's been active. He pushed the tier 1. He's going to pressure the tier 2 bottom. So it hasn't even been pure farm, but it's been efficient leveling at that. And, well, we're still waiting for Pycat's big item. What's coming on the courier right now? It's going to be Claymore. He's going Shadowblade, and once again, I like this choice.
Again, it's not a bad item by any means. It helps you split push, the damage output, and more importantly, let's not forget the fact that it helps you land your ultimate. If you get that kind of initial big burst damage out in a team fight, that's sometimes all you need to win a team fight. To me, the more impressive thing is still Brax up on the top lane, now FaZe and Helm. He is completely, I don't want to say free farming this lane, but he's actually getting great farm.
45 CS is free farm for that position.
Yeah. On the long lane, definitely.
He's had no help. Chen's been jungling. Sankey's been bottom. He's been left entirely to his own devices and performing admirably at that. And you look at RisingStars right now. Well, they want to defend this tier 2. It's going to be tough, though. They're fighting into the mech. They're fighting into a lot of AoE on the side of LGD.int. Can they do it? 3 heroes grouped up bottom, and it'll be a bit of a war of attrition here for the time being.
I don't think RisingStar could run in and take a fight against them because they don't do any damage. There's a mech and a Hand of God, but at the same time, I don't think the Radiant team could dive that tower because the threat of the big AoE, and you don't want to clump. So it's going to be somewhat of a stalemate, and the more time you waste as LGDint, who's doing more of a timing push kind of lineup, the more kind of they're going to fall behind. So they got to be very careful.
I do want to point out just how far behind Xiaotuji is right now. 60
Burrow
CS.
strike on the bot lane right now. Raise number 1, raise number 2. Where's the living armor? It came way too late. Per damage output.
Coil's there, though. It catches out, too. Now they go on. Silence as well, but Air, he gets stunned by the Centaur right as he jumps in. That's a double stun. That's a raise to the face. Misery. Great micro. Finds the kill, and wow. Pretty aggressive fight there, to say the least.
Turns out that defensive spell not cast during the time needed is not good. So, Treant...
Riddle. Lumi, you're a Riddle wrapped in Enigma, wrapped in a Misery. But a Misery. A mystery. Jesus Christ. Oh, I should stop casting with you. This is really bad for my speaking skills.
Hey, man, don't blame. Don't blame. Don't hate. Top lane here?
Eternal Envy's rubbing off on you with your new haircut, and you're rubbing off on me with the English. And now Super, well, he's going to get caught out top lane and easily brought down. Brax finding the kill, and LGD starting to find some momentum. But yeah, I want to mention, Xiaotuji is not farming well, to be totally honest with you. 65 CS, 13 minutes in, safe lane Alk. That's not good enough. Not when Shadow Fiend's getting free farm bottom lane, not when they're running a tri-core lineup. This lineup, the early Battle Fury rush, it is predicated on a fast Battle Fury. And they're going to go in now in XDD. Epicenter's there. Rubik tosses him up, throws him back down. Still doesn't have his level 6. they're so close to some of these key levels.
Air on the top lane just teleported in, thought he was going to have some assists. Unfortunately, Shrimp Protector not going to protect him. Shrimp Protector ground targeted his living armor, and when you ground target living armor and your allies is next to a tower, it goes on a tower. Tower has higher priority on that. And that's why Air was like, what's going on, guys? And he died.
Considering the position there, he may have died anyway.
Yeah.
He TP'd right into 3 heroes and maybe thought that his team would be able to do something. Now Misery just solo pushing this mid tower. Double stomp is there. He gets the tower, but he may pay with his own life. There's another stomp available. This one catches 2. Misery's out of creeps. Thank God for RisingStars, but he's actually going to live.
Wander away.
Misery single-handedly just absolutely wowing the crowd and possibly winning this game for his team. LGD putting it together when it really counts. They're going on to Xiaotuji now. They've got that Queen of Pain ult. Is it going to be enough damage? If they bring him down, that's going to delay his ultimate, or his Battle Fury rather, but it's not quite enough. He will survive for the time being. And there's your Battle Fury. 14 minutes in. Again, not the most impressive farm on Alk, but hey, it's a 14-minute Battle Fury. It's Max Greevil's Greed. You still can't count RisingStars out.
Yeah, let the farm begin, right? We also saw the defensive...
Well, maybe you can. It's 10k gold deficit.
I don't
I still wouldn't count them out, but it's a little bit harder than what I thought it was.
Yeah, also you got to keep in mind that Alchemist is only level 8 right now, so he doesn't have the max acid spray that goes very well with the Battle Fury. He doesn't have power threats up, which he definitely needs the attack speed. So even though he has a Battle Fury, it's very much so just like a naked relic in the sense that it doesn't do much right now.
Cow is like rolling under the casting desk right now with laughter, so I imagine something funny is being said in the chat.
Look, man.
Apparently, Lumi is saying ass spray.
I said acid spray, but what do you want to hear?
I mean, it kind of looks vile and unpleasant to say the
Well,
least.
here
But
we
the fight
go.
will break out. Burrow strike on Air. Queen of Pain ult over the top. Now the Centaur stomps follow up. Air just locked in position. The entire fight super as well. The chain stun from Misery. Oh my God! Ban his Chen already. This is absolutely mind-blowing Chen play.
Yeah, the Chen, like the Overgrowth was trying to get Chen up, but these Chen creeps better than Overgrowth.
Puck
apparently.
couldn't even phase shift, and that's instant.
Yep.
Mashing the button, couldn't get it off.
Man.
Wow, Misery.
That's yet another tier 2 tower. 1 tower stand here, and guess what? The Dire team haven't got a single tower. When you pick Treant Protector, these stuff is not supposed to happen. You're supposed to kind of play very defensive, protect all of your towers, protect all of your solos. They have never really done that, and have never really seen a team use Treant Protector successfully. So maybe Gots is right about this thing.
Well, you clearly haven't been watching DD Dota. Those guys play a mean... Godblack plays a pretty mean Treant.
DD's the only exception, I think.
Yeah. A lot of other teams have experimented with the hero, but have not quite had the success. And RisingStars, they seem to be struggling here. It's now at a point where they're probably going to lose their tier 2 mid. And then Lumi, that's where Alchemist just shouldn't farm this game. If LGD.int play it correctly, get the aggressive lane wards up, and just constantly starve RisingStars and constrict their ability to control the map to get the Alchemist out of the base, it should effectively be game. Because RisingStars, if they can't farm the Alchemist 3 or 4 items, he's not going to outcarry this Tricore. And
I mean, they got Orb, they got Fable, they got Aspirate defense.
Right,
so.
but they won't have access to their jungle. They should not have access to the Ancients, and that is a huge chunk of gold. No stacked Ancients for Alchemist. If LGD.int play correctly, Alchemist should be very restricted in his net worth and in his ability to farm this game.
Yeah, I mean, we also saw, and I think in game 1, where Alchemist had by far the most CS in the game, but wasn't able to actually carry through, so...
Yeah, this one isn't dying. He's also not contributing too much. Xiaotuji just sitting on an island bottom. He'll now look to farm that bottom lane. He'll get some creeps here and there. Hits level 9, but you also pointed out he needs quite a few levels to really hit his stride. Not only is it that you want max acid spray, you would like to max the stun, but even the ultimate's quite important as well. They're going to have a bit of a go here mid. It's going to be a blink bomb from G. No Orchid picked up, but it is coming right now, and that's going to mean a lot of trouble for your Puck, even for XDD, who has the mech. Let's see if the initiation's going to come. G lurking on the high ground here. The courier flying through for the time being. It's trying to deliver that Orchid safely, and under cover of tree line, it will do it.
He might just get Xiaotuji here. Xiaotuji have to pop his ult and TP out. No, he's not going to even make it back home. Look at the damage. Wow.
Easy kill, to say the least. And they can do that to anyone. That's the beauty of the Orchid. Puck is not in a position where he can live through that. He's actually going to get caught here by a Burrow. Now the Queen of Pain ult. They slam it home. And RisingStars, they're crumbling in this game 3. And maybe they have a chance in theory, but in the way the game's going, I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, and this is
It's going to be very tough.
BKB is now up on Shadow Fiend, and they're slamming on your high ground right now.
LGD.int, I love this timey window they're hitting here. They get the BKB and Pycat. They're going to break through. They're looking to take Game 3. If they do that, they will be going to the playoffs. They'll sneak in as that third-place team in Group B, and effectively third and second are the same. You start in the round of 6 for the playoffs. So we'll get to that in a second. The siege now well underway. Misery still has the mech, just pops it now. Brax is going up. He wants Mofi. That's going to be 4 hits. He can't find the kill because Mofi did steal Burrow Strike. Now it's actually going to be 1437 on the run. He gets thrown back towards the tower. Overgrowth available. Are they going to use it? They don't actually feel they need to. Now the Puck trying to find his way out. Already used the coil.
Nice defense.
Silence available. They do defend. They kill off the Sand King. 1437, just a little bit overextended there. And LGD.int, they only lose a Sand King. It's not the worst loss, but RisingStars, well, no coil for 60 seconds. Can they defend the second round of this push?
They have to, because they need living armor to keep healing that tower up. If you do defend it, that tower's going to be back to 42 eventually. Wow, vacuum on top, and now where's the overgrowth? It's going to be used, and it's going to do some damage. They are going to hold this. Brax gonna make it hot.
Beautiful combo. They might not be done yet. They'll surge in the Alk. Miscommunication as Xiaotuji runs to the left, but now he finds the distance. I think he'll get the stun off here on Misery, unless Misery can fog it. It is nighttime though, so he'll lob it immediately. Puck orbing forward, has the coil in 40 seconds. It won't be in time. They're still chasing Misery, but with his early Ogre Club, too tanky. What a big fight for RisingStars. This by Xiaotuji, some desperately needed farming time. He's got the power tread, so he'll at least get to farm another wave or two. Maybe they even look at a tower. LGD without the Sand King, and with no Hand of God, and even I think mech cooling down, it's a little bit overextended.
It looks like we see a little bit of tier 1 tower siege. That's the second time in a row. No, Super gonna be in big trouble. You leave Super and you say, man, good luck. We'll see you on the other side. That's the second time where we see LGN making dives where they don't need to make dives at.
That one was, yeah, that's true, but that was one person. And they went for a kill. It was just a good escape by RisingStars. I wouldn't really call it a dive, just an unfortunate overextension. Game 1, or Game 2, that was a 4-hero dive. This was sort of just a slight overextension, and, well, now they'll go Roche. They'll kind of back down and cool off, and LGDN, well, looks like they should be in pretty decent shape here. If they can get this Aegis, I still feel they should be able to break the base. Maybe they just need to find a pickoff with that Orchid before they go.
I think if you give the Aegis to either Brax or Pycat, it's just too hard for the Dire team to have enough damage out for the kill twice. Simply because you're depending on a Treant Protector who doesn't do much. The living armors are not going on this tower, and I have no idea why.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Living Armor is the only ability in the game that can actually heal towers.
No, Guardian Angel now.
Oh, Aghanim Scepter.
There you go.
Does it actually heal them or just make them invulnerable?
They heal them too.
Oh, okay.
That is OP stuff.
But considering the cooldown, you can't actually do that much healing to the racks.
Yo, every team
or to the tower.
Every team fight your towers more and more flawless.
What does it reduce the cooldown actually? I haven't gotten to play Omni.
It's 152nd all levels, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how much actual effective regen that is. Other thing is, do you really want to be saving your Omni ult to defend your towers? If you do, aren't you already losing?
It's a free glyph every time. Like if
aren't you already losing though if you have to blow your ult on your towers?
I mean, if you have an Alchemist farming for Acceptor, you're already losing. So before even that happens.
Omni Knight, you mean? But yeah.
Yeah.
Double blink for RisingStars, or sorry, no, for one blink for them. Air's gonna pick that up, but I think this is the big one because this is the hero that you blink in, you silence G, no BKB up on yet on him. Brax doesn't go BKB, so this silence could act. This blink dagger on Puck, I feel, could be the difference maker here for RisingStars.
Yeah, it's going to be a very important counter initiate tool. And again, the siege is now coming. Acid spray gotta get dropped.
XDD, he'll get Orchided up, but surges away in the nick of time. Otherwise, might have gone down here. Living armor removed rather quickly. Now the stun from Xiaotuji only clips one. XDD fishing for a vacuum. Can't find the angle. Gets troll trapped up. Now the blink. Epi burrow damage. Oh my God, LGD. Kill off 2. They want more. They do pop the Aegis, and they're not going to overextend. At least not yet. They're working on the racks. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for them. If they take this rack, they'll be one step closer to moving on to the playoffs for the Dota 2 Super League. It's not over yet for RisingStars, but the end could be coming soon. They're down. Are they going to be out of the fight? We're about to find out. One lane of racks secured, and LGDN, we'll see how confident they're feeling. The safe play would be back out, farm the map, and wait for the next Roshan, but we'll see if they go for that.
They're pinging bot. They want this game to be over now. They're going to
slice the jugular. Let's do it now.
So they don't have the epicenters. They don't have No, they do still have the BKB on Shadow Fiend, but they also don't have a lot of the Chen creep. So I'm not really sure whether they could follow through with this push, and maybe they realize that as well, and they're gonna back off.
Yeah, Misery was heading top, goes back bottom, then goes back top again. I think he's telling his team, let me get my Chen creeps, wait for me to rejoin the fight, and then we'll push. And let the Hand of God cool down. We'll see if they wait that long. They are pushing for bottom lane. Sanj up on Brax after the casual Vitality booster. End the game now items for Xiaotuji. It's going to be a Blink Dagger. Very unorthodox, but he can blink in and just drop this stun all of a sudden. But he reveals it on Pycat. Only a slight duration stun there. I don't think it'll be enough. Super now taking a lot of damage. Brax driven back for the time being. Well, this is an interesting little pickup. They really need to win a big fight here because this is going to hurt Alchemist late game a heck of a lot.
I mean, it's not a great Alchemist item by any means, but it's an item. Any item helps, so...
yeah, well, this is almost your Hail Mary item.
Right.
You lose this next fight, you lose the game. And Pycat, under cover of Shadowblade, looking for a pickoff here. He's going to find XDD, goes to work with the auto tech. Now the Blink Bomb, they want to bring XDD down. He gets purged. He's going to drop pretty quickly at that. He will go down in the end, or sorry, rather, the Surge is wearing off, but now 5-hero telekinesis stun, doesn't matter. They lose 2. And LGD.int, this should be most likely a second lane of Rax, unless they dive the fountain. Brax driving super, overgrowth not there yet, not being used, won't get it off. Now on to Xiaotuji. This time the dive might be the smashing success they're hoping for. Xiaotuji self-sun, he's in trouble. Brax thrown into the fountain, doesn't really care, doesn't give 2 hoots. LGD.int, they're going to take game 3, and they squeak through into the playoffs.
There was just no damage at all. Like, what is this lineup doing?
Alchemist was the big damage, and also LGD.int had such an early mech. A 9-minute mech, really fast level 2 Hand of God. I think the damage was there if they didn't lose the early game as hard as they did.
And they did. They lost the top lane because Brax was able to get a ton of levels. Mid was kind of a wash, and bot was Shadow from free farming. So they lost 2 lanes out of 3.
Yeah. Well, LGD.int, how do you feel about them after these games? Are they looking improved to you? Do you think they're finding their stride here? Or do you feel like RisingStars just a bit weaker than some of these other teams in the group? Teams like Orange, DK.
I think the potential of LGD.int is very high. But at the same time, today they haven't played well. But still, they took the series. So
Misery, for me, by far the standout over the course of the series. Great Sand King play in game number 2. And even game 1, I believe he played. Was it Sand King? I don't know. He played great in all 3 games. I thought this game,
Sand King in game 2 and Chen 1 and 3.
Yeah, and his Chen in game 3, fantastic. 10 and 4 when he gets the Chen. That's why teams were banning it in the G League. And well, LGD, they move on to the playoffs. End of the day, 3rd place. It's not as good as 1st, but it's the same as 2nd as far as, well, you play the 2nd seed from Group A, but point is you move on to the playoffs. You stay alive. You keep your Dota 2 Super League hopes and dreams going for the time being.
Yeah, I also want to say Brax played really well as well. Maybe not so much seen as like
it wasn't the flashiest play.
It wasn't, but
he got the job done.
Really, really excellent jobs. And yeah, everybody played well.
So LGD.int, guys, they will be moving on. They're going to be your 3rd place team coming out of Group B. Group B is not done yet, though. Tomorrow is the whopper of a game, the one that I'm most excited about out of any game that we've had so far in the Dota 2 Super League. It's going to be Orange versus DK, best of 3. Winner is 1st place in the group. Generally, I would say I think DK just have the edge on Chinese soil and are the more accomplished and kind of reliable LAN team, but Orange is just crushing everyone lately.
They are on fire.
In terms of recent form, I would say Orange is playing better. They're both playing well, though. This series could go either way.
DK, for the love of God, please ban Visage, because if Extinct gets his hand on it, his KDR, or is it KDR? KDR is right after burning, like as a 5-row support. How does that even boggle your mind? This boggles mine.
It turns my brain into jelly.
Yeah.
And my brain's already jelly, as some of my Lumiisms this cast already revealed. LGD.int, not really going nuts here. It is only a group stage match after all, but they got to feel good. They move on to the playoffs. It's a nice feeling for them, and well earned at that. In the end, 2-2 in the group. It wasn't a bad showing. It's just, it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the day, Lumi, is we just expect so much from this team.
Yeah. You just think that they will topple the world and be the
best
team.
They said you come out and like you just kick ass in your first tournament as hard as they did. You even take a game off of IG on LAN.
Yeah.
We expect them to be, one of the top teams in Asia. And so far, they're a solid kind of mid-tier team.
Yep.
Can they take it to the next level? We'll find out over the course of the next few weeks.
Yep. And tomorrow, it's going to be DK versus Orange. Your quick prediction on the series? You leaning with DK?
No, I think Orange 2-1. Orange just playing out unbelievable Dota right now.
Yeah, normally the other person's supposed to disagree and be like, oh, Team DK. I'm going with Orange too.
Orange is just playing better right now. I mean, now that it also comes down to matchups, and I think DK, they've been doing their homework on their opponents. I would say one of their stronger things lately has just been aspects of their game has been their draft. They've been making targeted bans against Rattlesnake. I remember they were banning out, I think, the Darkseer, the Clockwork frequently, which is one of the strongest combos that team musters. So with DK, I think they will do their homework. I don't expect we'll see Visage for them or for Orange, and something maybe DK will even take for themselves.
Also, special shout out, after tomorrow, we have another big Asian tournament.
Yeah, it has been announced. You guys have all heard about it. The Alienware Cup is coming up soon, so be sure to check that out. Also, I just want to remind everyone, these shirts are available in the Team Liquid store now. teamliquid.net/BTS. If you haven't picked one up already, I highly suggest you do. They're a limited quantity. They're selling quickly, but there are some still available.
Selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, they're selling like hotcakes, man. And for all our Kickstarter or Indiegogo contributors, your shirts should be getting sent out in the coming days. So look forward to that. Check the mail. If you did contribute, thank you very much. And they have a special little badge on the back as well. But with all that being said, guys, that's going to wrap up today's coverage. We will be back tomorrow for Orange versus DK. Best of 3. Winner first in the group. Loser second. Story for today, LGD.int, they move on as third place. Thank you for tuning in. For now, it's LD, Lumi, and Kawa signing off.